Good morning, sir.
Morning. Okay. Morning, everybody. Okay, let's start the class. Only 30 members, including me. It's only 12 members are there in class. Okay, no problem. Okay, today who is going to present? Okay, before your presentations, I want to just cover one small topic. Unit 3. Let's start Unit 3 first. Okay, Unit 3 is regarding the microbiology or microorganisms. A study of a branch of science which is studying microorganisms is called a microbiology. So we have to study this microbiology in Unit 3. Then these are the Part A topics in which you study various diversity of microorganisms. How many types of microorganisms are there in a what we call in the two domains, how these microorganisms are have been divided, we have to study like eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Then what are the general characteristics of various microorganisms like protozoa, algae, fungi, bacteria and viruses, we have to study in part 1. Let's see the first topic, what is microorganisms. Okay, microorganisms are nothing but simply a microbe, okay, which is existent in a microscopic scale. All right, microorganism, simply we call microorganism or micro or a living being which is in a microscopic range, which may exist in a single cell form or in a colony of cells. Okay, which can be in a which can be in a single celled form. Okay, only single cell will be there, or otherwise it may be exist in a large number of populations. Okay, nothing but a colony of cells. Okay, they are very diverse. They are extremely very diverse and maybe usually present in a unicellular system. Okay, unicellular organisms maybe. Then they are grouped into two domains. Generally these microorganisms are grouped into two domains. One is the prokaryotes and next one is the eukaryotes. So prokaryotes is nothing but a unicellular organisms that will not have any nucleus or mitochondria in their overall structure. Okay, in their structure, in the microorganism structure, where there is a lacking of this nucleus or mitochondria inside their membrane, is called a prokaryotes. Okay, they are the first living organisms known to the humankind. Prokaryotes are the first living organisms in this world. Okay, they are divided into two domains further. The prokaryotes. One is the archaea, and next one is the bacteria. Okay, these two are the examples for the prokaryotes. Then next one is the eukaryotes. What is eukaryotes? Eukaryotes are nothing but which have a nucleus inside their membrane. Okay, but prokaryotes do not have any nucleus inside their membrane. Only membrane will be there with some living parts. Whereas in the eukaryotes, there will be a nucleus. There will be some origin inside it, nucleus, and then inside that nucleus, outside that nucleus, one membrane will be covering those one. So almost every organism which we can see with our uh, which we can see is called a uh, eukaryotes. Okay, some of the microorganisms, some of the microorganisms which are in the microscopic range are also uh, comes under in the eukaryotes. Okay, all the microorganisms which we can see with our eye without any use of microscopes will also come under the eukaryotes, and also some of the microorganisms which are present in the microscopic domain is also comes under this eukaryotes. Okay, the examples for these eukaryotes are all protists, fungi, plants, animals are the examples of eukaryotes. So overall, we can say that the branch which studies the microorganisms, or the science which studies the microorganisms or behavior characteristics of the microorganisms, is nothing but a microbiology. Okay, the microorganisms has a many influence in several ways. Right from the product synthesis to our digestion, aiding in our digestion, everything microorganisms has a role to play. Okay, in fertilizers, in soil enhancement, in soil conditioning, like farmer friendly microorganisms, which we know earthworms. Okay, we have studied in 10th class. Farmer friendly microorganisms are known as the earthworms. Okay, they are used in the fertilizer purpose, whereas to prepare a manures. Okay, to compost all the waste into some manure form. The microbes which are responsible are called earthworms. So these earthworms, okay, microorganisms will have a very much influence in our mankind as well as in our universe. Uh, they have a major role to play, right from the product synthesis in a dairy product. In our daily day-to-day purpose, we are consuming curd. Okay, we are consuming curd, nothing but we are adding some bacteria inside that milk, then only it is converting to the curd. Then we can know what are the differences between these eukaryotes and prokaryotes. We all know that now from the definition we can know that these are the unicellular organisms, where they don't have any nucleus inside it, whereas in the eukaryotes there will be eukaryotes are nothing but absent of nucleus. Okay. Prokaryotes are nothing but a absence of nucleus, whereas eukaryotes are nothing but a presence of nucleus. Then we can further divide a division in between two types of organisms, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. In the eukaryotes, there are more than one chromosome. Okay, chromosomes are there. There are more than one chromosomes in the eukaryotes, whereas rarely one chromosome will be encountered in the prokaryotes. Then they are multicellular. These eukaryotes are the multicellular. We can say that these prokaryotes are the unicellular. They usually considered as unicellular, nothing but a prokaryotes, whereas eukaryotes are the multicellular. Okay, we all know that uh, nucleus is absent in the prokaryotes, whereas nucleus is present in the eukaryotes. Then example for these prokaryotes are the um, for the eukaryotes are the what we call plants and animals, or fungi and protists, whereas examples for these prokaryotes are the small archaea and bacteria types. The next one, genetic combinations. These can combine in a various genetic forms. For example, meiosis and fusion of gametes. Okay, some molecules like gametes will be there. They will be fusion with each other. Then uh, they can reproduce. So genetic recombination will be possible in the eukaryotes, whereas in the prokaryotes, partial or unidirectional transfer of DNA. Okay, uh, deoxynucleic nucleic acid will be possible, DNA. Okay, then lysosome and peroxisomes. Okay, lysosomes and peroxisomes are present in the eukaryotes, whereas the lysosomes and peroxisomes is absent in the archaea and bacteria. Then microtubules will be absent in the prokaryotes, whereas it will be present in the eukaryotes. Then endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum will be present in the eukaryotes. It may be absent in the prokaryotes. Then mitochondria, like in a nucleus, they are absent in the prokaryotes, whereas mitochondria is also absent in the prokaryote. Whereas in the eukaryotes, mitochondria is present. Then ribosome. Okay, ribosomes in case of eukaryotes are very larger. whereas ribosomes in the case of prokaryotes are very smaller. Then permeability of nuclear membrane. Okay, they can permeate into the nuclear membrane. Like for example, eukaryotes uh, they can offer can selectively be permeable in the nuclear membrane, whereas prokaryotes they cannot permeate into the nuclear membrane. Then cell sizes. Okay, the major distinction in the cell sizes of these eukaryotes and prokaryotes are always greater in size than the prokaryotes. Eukaryotes will range in the size in the range of 10 to 100 micrometer, whereas prokaryotes will range in the size of 1 to 10 micrometer. So we can say these eukaryotes are larger than these prokaryotes. As from the examples also, we can say plants, animals, which can be seen using our naked eye. So always these eukaryotes will be larger in size, whereas here you see archaea and bacteria, they are very small, we can't see with our naked eye. So because of that, these prokaryotes will be of less size, 1 to 10 micrometer, whereas eukaryotes are in the larger size, like 10 to 100 micrometer. Okay, this is about a distinction between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and the classification of microorganisms into two domains called prokaryotes and eukaryotes. What are the differences between them? What is microorganisms, and what is the science behind that? We have to study in the further classes. Okay, this is a simple topic for the first class. Okay, next class we will see the applications of microorganisms, where they are used in the dairy products like curd, cheese, etc. What we can synthesize and break, bread baking and everything. We have to see. Okay, any doubts in this topic? Microorganism. The simple definitions these are. Shall we move further?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, who is going to present the second unit today? Please come voluntarily. Last time also same I'm asking. Okay, shall I call, or somebody is coming?
Sir, I'm going to present.
Okay, yeah. WhatsApp there, yeah. Thank you. I will share PPT. You want PPT, or you have your PPT? Okay, which topic you are going to present?
Cleansing action of soaps or detergents.
Yeah, please proceed.
Yeah, okay, sir. So here the cleansing action of soaps or detergents. These are the chemical compounds used for the human in day-to-day lives, and in for the industrial purposes or active applications. Here in this cleansing compounds, colloidal chemistry uh, pr- principles plays a role in their action of cleansing. And here in the cleansing compounds, there will be two groups. One is hydrophobic, which is water hating, and hydrophilic, which is water loving. This which is appreciably decrease the surface tension and increase wettability. So by that we can say surface tension is inversely proportional to wettability. So in wash water, soaps or detergents increase the wettability of water. So it can easily penetrate into the fabric, and it can reach the stains, and it can move away all the stains of the product. So each molecule of this cleansing compound has a long chain, which has a one end is a hydrophobic and other end is hydrophilic compounds. So here, hydrophobic end, which attracts the stains particles from the surrounding. At the same time, water-loving compounds, that is hydrophilic, attracts the molecules and stain particles away from the fabric into the wash water. So this is the action when combined with the mechanical agitation in washing machine enables detergent to remove all the stains from the product. So when we coming to the classification of cleansing compounds, here this divided into soaps and detergents, and detergents are again divided into three types. It is anionic, cationic, and non-ionic. Here anionic it divided into three types: sulfated fatty alcohol, sulfonates, and sulfated esters and acids. So here the soaps, when it comes, soaps are the compounds of the type RCOOM, where RCO is a fatty acid radical representation. For example, it's oleic, steric, palmitic, or lauric, and M is alkali metals such as sodium and potassium. And when coming to the detergents, these are the synthetic organic chemicals which promote better surface tension than the soaps. So when it comes to anionic, sulfated fatty alcohols, which gives R minus in the water. So the sulfated compounds here, ROH plus H2SO4 gives rise to ROSO3H. It's plus H2O. Here sulfated compounds, in this reaction, sulfated compounds are quite stable in acid, alkaline, and hard water. And these are low priced detergents which are not stable as sulfonates and require more additives in final compound to improve performance. Here they represents the major ingredients of compound detergents. Here the molecular structure of R is important for the biologically soft or hard. So here straight chain normal paraffin structure gives the aryl benzene sulfonates, whereas a branched chain in the sulfonates resists the biodegradation. When we come non-ionic, in the non-ionic compounds produce some little foam, but this possess excellent stain removal and grease emulsion characteristics, so it can easily remove the stain removal. For example, we'll use derivatives like alkyl aryl ethylene oxide and aliphatic polyhydric alcohol esters and fatty acid amines. Yeah, that's it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Nice presentation. Okay, next who is going to present?
Sir, I present.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Which topic?
Oh. So, methods of soap production.
Methods of soap.
Yes,
Please go
sir.
ahead.
There are two methods majorly. First one is batch saponification process, and second continuous hydrolysis and saponification process. Batch saponification process is an acid hydrolysis of glycerides followed by alkali addition or direct saponi- saponification using strong caustic in batch process. Operations are the oldest type of soap manufacturers. Uh, and In the continuous hydrolysis and saponification process, this method is in greater use because it has these advantages over batch process. The major advantages are flexibility in control of product distribution, higher glycerin yields. The glycerin yield is greater than 80%, less of color production during the short time hydrolysis step, and it requires less space and manpower. The raw materials used in this process are refined tallow, recovered and refined grease, coconut and palm oils, and this all comes under uh, glyceride sources, alkali like NaOH or KOH, builder type additive like rosins. The the reactions are uh, in the fat. fat splitting process, the reaction is triglyceride, that is RCOO taken thrice, C3H5 plus 3H2O gives rise to uh, uh, fatty acid of glycerin. In the saponification process, RCOOH plus MOH, where M is alkali metal such as potash, K or Na, which produces soap. So next.
Yeah.
Next. So this is the diagram of continuous process of fatty acids, soaps, and glycerin. The process is the glycerides and catalysts are added at the bottom of the hydrolysis tower, where at high pressure of water at 230 to 250 degrees centigrade is passed countercurrently to the glycerides, where the reaction occurs of where 15 to 20% of glycerin solution is being removed from the bottom of the tower. The fatty acids are passed overhead to the flash tank to remove excess of steam. The crude fatty acids are vacuum distilled, and the condensate is in the distillation receiver. It is either available as a marketable product or for soap manufacture. Caustic soda is added to fatty acids in a continuous high-speed mixture, and the saponification is completed in a speed blender, where the ingredients are added if desired. Soap from the blender may be pumped through heated lines to bar soaps or flake or spray drying equipment, followed by the packing operations. That's it, sir.
Okay, next one. Next candidate. Okay, next one who is going to present? Number 8.
Sir, next class I will prepare. I didn't prepare, sir. Next class I will present.
Okay, yeah. Then 20. Ravi. Number 20, Ravi. (26). 26. I think these people are absent. 26. 26. 29. 29. 44. 44. 49. 49. 17/28. This is the last call. Once again, I'm calling. Please respond. Otherwise, I will make you absent. 17/28. Okay, 17/28 absent. Number 6.
Yes, sir.
Have you presented?
No, sir, not yet. Same
Present.
topic, sir. So,
Which one?
methods of soap production. Methods
Same.
of soap production.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone present here. I'm going to present methods of soap production. In this methods of soap production, there are two processes. First one is batch saponification process. It involves the conversion of fat, oil, or lipid into the soap, and with uh, with acid hydrolysis and followed by the alkali addition. And the second one is continuous hydrolysis of saponification process. In this, the molecule fat and water are introduced continuously to the opposite sides of the column. Fatty acid and glycerin are simultaneously withdrawn. Next, the fatty acid are distilled under vacuum to effect the purification. Then they are neutralized with sodium hydroxide. It is the old technique which has the more advantages, and the advantages of continuous processor: flexibility in control of product distribution, high glycerin yield, and less color production during the short time of hydrolysis step, and requires less space and manpower. And the raw materials are glyceride sources: refined tallow, recovered and refined grease, coconut and palm oils, fatty acid, distillates, and etc. Alkali like NaOH or KOH, and builder types are additive like rosin. And the reactions are in fat splitting, the fat reacts with water to form fatty acid and the soap. And in saponification, the fat and the fat undergo hydrolysis to form soap, and water is released. So please move the next slide. In this, where glycerol and catalyst are sent under the bottom of the hydrolysis tower, and the hot water are sent at the top of the hydrolysis tower. From there, the glycerin and the impurities are moved towards down, and the fatty acids are up. And from the fatty acid, it's sent to a flash. Fatty acid is sent to a flash drum, and from there, it's sent to a vacuum, high vacuum still, and the water and the waste are released from the downward, and the fatty acid are from up. And then it is sent to a storage, and from storage, it's sent to a pump, and from there it goes to a mixture. In that, NaOH are added, and from that, it's sent to the blender, in which the solid and liquid mix and form a soap. And in the 15 to 20% of glycerin impurities, they are sent to a ion exchanger, and from there they are sent to a triple effect operator, and the steam is released. From there, it's sent to a still, and some of the glycerin and it's sent to a holding tank. The 99% of yellow glycerin is removed, and then it's sent to the activated carbon, and from there it's sent to the filter, and the filtrate is 99% of white glycerin. And thank you, sir.
Okay, when they are asked about methods of soap preparation, you have to present all this. You have to draw all this flow sheet. Okay, you can't neglect this 15% glycerin and this bottom flow sheet. You have to draw this whole flow sheet and explain all the terms, all the flow sheet unit of in processes. Okay, only this part is not enough. When they are asking separately, write about the glycerin manufacturing. You have to draw the whole flow sheet, but explain only this thing. For the soap manufacturing, methods of soap manufacturing, all this is required. Okay, because glycerin is also one of the ingredients in the soaps. Okay, many types of soap will also use the glycerin as the major ingredients. Okay, yeah, number 6, this is glycerin, a glycerin molecule or a glycerol we can say. Okay, this is not a soap. Okay,
Okay, sir.
this triglyceride will be just hydrolyzed with 3 molecules of water and gives a 3 fatty acids or a free fatty acids with the liberation of 1 glycerin or glycerol molecule. Okay, because triglycerides is the combination of 3 fatty acids, nothing but ester of 3 fatty acids and 1 glycerin backbone. So when 3 fatty acids are released and 1 glycerin backbone will be separated out. Okay, so this is the reaction.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
next. Okay, okay, thank you. Nice presentation. Yeah, next one, who is going to present? Number 8. Okay, this is last call. Number 8.
Sir, in next class I will present, sir.
Oh, okay, sir. Yeah, 20. Raviteja. 26, 26, okay, 29, 29, 44, okay, 49. Okay, no problem. It's up to you whether you are presenting or not. I don't care. Okay, then next is this one. Okay, I have already uploaded Unit 3 material in the Microsoft Teams, as well as I have sent you through WhatsApp also. You can see that one. Here, if you see in the CT2, Zakir said this channel. In this channel, Unit 3 notes has been uploaded already. Okay, the same notes I have sent through WhatsApp. If anybody is not getting, just then please share. This is the complete notes regarding the microbiology. Okay, this is the typed notes. Okay, you can easily go through these notes. Okay, here in these notes, this is the complete syllabus. This is the part A, microbial biotechnology regarding the diversity, already given in the PPT, and this is part B, overall the growth curves and etc. If you want the additional study, you can refer these two textbooks, Care and Casida. With these two textbooks, you can refer. Otherwise, notes is more than enough. You can study. Okay, every day before coming to class, please study according to this one. So first question today we have. Just I have taken the first question. What is the microorganisms and microbiology? Okay, these are the definitions and types of microorganisms like prokaryotes and eukaryotes. We already defined it. So just revise for the next class. And the distinction between the two types of prokaryotes and eukaryotes has been given here. Okay, this is the first question you can say. And the next one, tomorrow we are going to cover this one, the application of microorganisms. Okay, in the microorganisms, the applications are dairy industry, bread baking and everything. So before coming tomorrow, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, whatever the class, CT2 is there. Okay, Thursday, tomorrow is not a class, so yes. Okay, in the next class, whatever the class is there, CT2, before coming to it, you have to list out what are the good bacteria which is present in the milk and what is the bad bacteria which is present in the milk. These two bacteria you have to list out and come, and when I ask you, just you have to say. Okay, then in the next class, I will cover what are the applications in the dairy industry, particularly curd, cheese, what are the other products which are synthesized in the dairy, and then bread making also uses the streptococcus, this bacteria, then organic chemicals like acetic acid, fumic acid, fumaric acid, everything will be synthesized, and fertilizer, B12 vitamins, and everything I will just cover in the next class. So, okay, probably in the after the next class, we will see this one to discuss about the general characteristics and biotechnological applications of microorganisms. Okay, in this one, you have to study the 5 different microorganisms. One is the protozoa, algae, fungi, and bacteria, and viruses. Okay, all these have been given in your notebook. This one, as you can see, this has many times asked you from your old question paper only. I have taken this question. Explain in detail general characteristics and biotechnological applications of protozoa, algae, fungi, and bacteria. Okay, here they have not asked about the virus. Okay, in the general sense, in the other question paper, they are asked about discuss general characteristics and biotechnological applications of various microorganisms. Okay, meaning when they are referred to the microorganisms means you have to discuss all these five: protozoa, algae, fungi, bacteria. Whereas when they are asking about only these four types, whatever they are asking, you have to discuss about these four types only here. So protozoa and their general characteristics are listed out here. How they will be where, how their size will be there, or whether they are independent or dependent. Then what are the classifications among them, and how they are going to apply in the practical sense, in what applications they are going to be applied. So these are nothing but applications. Then next one is the algae. Same in the same sense, they are defined. Algae are defined, and then their general characteristics will be listed out. Then applications will be given, in which industry or which cultivation purpose they are using. I have listed out here. Then next one is the fungi. Okay, fungi. They similarly, the what is the fungi we can define, and then what are the general characteristics and applications. Their various applications as a nutrient source and everything. Okay, similar in a similar fashions, viruses are also bacteria and viruses are also defined. Okay, if you want to add anything extra to this one, okay, by referring anything, by conducting anything, I will share this word file also, this one word file, so that you can add if anything is required. Okay, here if you can, this material is completely enough for your examination point of view. But whereas if you want to study more than this one, you can list out various dairy products like curd, cheese. Okay, how they are synthesized. I will share one research paper also regarding how these dairy products, curd or cheese, can be synthesized, or various other dairy products can be synthesized, and bread baking. Okay, how to bake a bread. It is out of context for your syllabus. If you want how this bacteria will be used in the product synthesis, you can also study. If you want, you can add more to this material. I will share this material with you also. Okay, next one, last class, in the previous class I have already shown you how to go for the videos, previous videos. Okay, many members are just taking textbooks, okay, textbooks and just explaining what is given in the textbook, same directly. Okay, you can do one thing, you can go to previously added videos, the offline videos, nothing but offline videos from the Microsoft Teams. Okay, here video links are there. If for the CT1 individually, I have given a video links in the folder. Inside that folder, one Word document will be there. You just have to go to that Word document. In that, one link will be there. Okay, this link. When you click this link, you can directly reach to this channel. Okay, CT2 link. When you click, you can reach to this channel. Okay, when you go inside this channel, there are many videos. Okay, okay, up to the previous class, only 16 videos we have covered. So 16 videos. Watched, how many people are following this channel, I can know from here. Okay, only me is following. Nobody else is following. Meaning, you are not at all watching the previous videos. When you are having doubts, you can ask me, or otherwise, you can just go to the previous video and just watch it once again. Okay, you can see here, date 8th August 2020. I have taken a class. In this, the topic is clearly written. Unit 2 revision is continuation. Okay, this is the 10th August 20, previous class, which previous one day before. We have taken this class in with the student presentation. Isaac has wonderfully presented here. You can watch this video if you want extra. The next one is 25/7. Okay, 25th July, I have taken this class at cleansing compounds. Once again, you can see the action, cleansing action of the detergents and soap, the mechanism, introduction. Okay, classifications of soaps and detergents. You can watch. The 30th July, you can watch what is the soap production, regarding each and every reaction. What type of reaction is taking place in the hydrolyzer? What type of reaction is taking place in the low speed bender? Okay, reaction A is taking place, which is a fat splitting or the hydrolysis reaction is taking place in the hydrolyzer, whereas saponification reaction is taking place in the low speed bender. Okay, you can watch that. This is a complete video for the only soap production. And 5th August, I have taken the methods of detergent manufacturing class. So in which we can only find the two types of detergent manufacturing. One is ABS, aryl benzene sulfonate, and next one is sulfated fatty alcohols. For the both type of soap synthesis, okay, this is the complete class. You can watch from the previous video. Then regarding the unit 1, okay, heavy water production, okay, 6th July I have taken this class, heavy water production. You can watch this once again. Then propulsion fundamentals was taken in the 9th July. Okay, you can watch this one also. Okay, when you just click on the show more, every video according to their title, according to their date has been arranged. You can go and watch the previous videos. Okay, once again watching doesn't degrade your knowledge, it will increase your knowledge only. Okay, same you can go through that one, and the same is applicable for mass transfer 1 also. Same one, if you see here in the files, same videos I have uploaded here, video link. When you click that one inside this Word document, the link, you can go to the direct MTO channel. Okay. Okay, you can go to this channel, mass transfer operations 1 channel. Okay, the previously all the taken videos you can watch there. Okay, and then next is the unit 3 notebook. So unit 3 notes I have given in the unit 3 this folder. You can take from here, unit 3 folder, and now only I will upload this Word document also, unit 3 Word document. If anybody is interested in studying more and more, you can study. If you want to share with your friends or share with me, you can add to this document. And the same thing, you can send it to me. I will upload here also. Okay, any doubts are there up to now what we have covered? Okay, once again I am calling who are going to present. Okay, this is the last call, you can consider. Okay, next class onwards we will fully start the unit 3. Okay, there is no excuses. 17/28. Yeah, this is to test your skills. Okay, presentation. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 completed, 8. We will do the next class. 26. 26. Okay, 29. 29. 44. 49. Hello, Isaac. Ravi. Hello, Pavani. Okay, why
Sir,
these people are invite others for conversation? Is it a network problem or they left intentionally?
I think network problem, sir.
Okay, network problem. Then no problem. Okay. Okay, any doubts are there up to unit 2? Okay, anybody, any doubts are there up to unit 2? Just ask me.
Nothing, sir.
What, Ananya?
Yes, sir. No doubt, sir.
No doubt. Okay. Yeah.
Sir, I want to present once again on hydrogenation of oil, sir.
Now you will present.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Resolution of all. Yeah. Okay. Please go ahead, Ananya. Thank you.
Okay, sir. So good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to present on hydrogenation of oil. So basically, hydrogenation is an unit process which is used in the fat and oil industries to remove the double bonds, that is unsaturated fatty acids to a saturated fatty acids that is single bonds, and it raises the melting point and improves resistance to rancid oxidation. Basically, rancidity is an incomplete it is basically incomplete oxidation of the fats and oils when it is exposed to air, moisture, and bacterial action, which will result in an unpleasant taste and odor. So, to remove this rancidity, we 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 do hydrogenation of oils. So now going through the flow chart, the raw materials which we use are. So once can you keep that first page, sir? The raw materials which we use are oils, purified hydrogen, and bleaching agents or adsorbents. Fuller's earth bleaching agent is used because the oils will have a certain color. So to remove this off flavors and colors, we use Fuller's earth, and we even use adsorbent like carbon. And vitamins are also used if needed. And the catalyst which we use is Rani or sponge nickel. And the end products which we obtain in the flow after the hydrogenation of oil is vanaspati, vegetable ghee, and solidified household oil for cooking, and hardened industrial oils, and partially hydrogenated liquid oil. Sir, next slide, sir. Now coming through the reactions. First is overall reaction. Here R1 C double bond C of X R2. This is a triglyceride where R2 is a glycerol R2 is the glycerol backbone, and R1 is a fatty acid chain. And C double bond C of X, where X is a stoichiometric coefficient. When R1 C double bond of X R2, when it reacts with Y moles of H2, X minus Y mole of 2, in presence of a nickel catalyst, it will give a purified form of hydrogenated form of Y moles of triglyceride. For example, this linoleic acid, that is C17, H31, CO taken thrice, C3H5 plus 3 moles of hydrogen in presence of a nickel catalyst will give a pure form of linoleic acid, that is C17, H33, COO taken thrice, C3H5. Next, for the for prepare for obtaining nickel catalyst, there are three methods. First is nickel formate decomposition, that is NiHCOO taken twice dot 2 moles of H2O. When it is heated at 190 degrees centigrade, will give nickel plus 2 moles of carbon dioxide plus hydrogen plus 2 moles of water. Another method is nickel reduce Ni or on inert catalyst support. That is nickel hydroxide on reacting with hydrogen will form nickel plus water, and nickel carbonate on reaction with H2 will give rise to form nickel, water, and carbon dioxide is liberated. And another method is Rani or spongy nickel method. This method is mostly used in the hydrogen industry because this Rani or spongy nickel will have a high surface area and a high porous structure. So when 2 moles of the ore of aluminium and nickel on reaction with 6 moles of sodium hydroxide, it will give rise to form nickel, and 2 moles of sodium aluminate and 3 moles of hydrogen is liberated. And as we can see from this picture, this is a Rani nickel, which is white in color, powder. Sir, next slide, sir. This is the flow chart. In this, as we can see, the oil is discharged in the hydrogenator before before this oil is sir. First, the oil and nickel catalyst are mixed in a separate catalyst, and this oil and nickel catalyst which is mixed is sent to the hydrogenator. Now we supply the steam and water to this hydrogenator, because to remove the water present in the oil and to drive off the air present in this hydrogenator. After this, we stop the supply of the steam or water, and then we supply H2 into the hydrogenator, because we stop the supply of steam or water because this is an exothermic reaction. Next, to know this how this process is completed, at each interval of time, we'll collect the sample and we'll check the iodine value. Iodine value is used for the indication of presence of double bonds, number of double bonds. So if we get the desired value, we reach the desired value, we'll stop the process. Then this whole batch will be collected and it will be sent into the catalyst. I mean, it will be collected and sent to the cooler. And then here it will be filtered. After filtration, the obtained, that is the solids of nickel catalyst, will be sent back into the tank, where it will again be mixed with the oil and will be sent back into the hydrogenator, whereas the liquid of the oil, phase of oil, will be sent again to the vacuum steam deodorizer. Here here the conversion, the off flavors which will be produced in the hydrogenator will be converted, that is conversion of unsaturated fatty acid to saturated fatty acid will be deodorized using the steam. This is also called Dautham vacuum odorizer. Then it will be passed through the filter or adsorbent, which we use is Fuller's earth and carbon. So it will decolorize the compounds, I mean the colors of the oil, and then it will be the purified form will be sent to will be filtered out, and the waste solids will be removed, and the purified oil will be collected. That is product oil or vanaspati. Thank you, sir. That's it, sir.
Good presentation. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anybody is there? Further want to present? I think nobody is going to present. Okay. This is the last class to present. Please go through all the notes and everything. Please be prepared and come for the next class, the CT class. Okay. Same one. Go to this channel and just download these units. If you want extra any additional material, you can add in this Word file. Otherwise, if you want to prepare, you can prepare using this PDF file. Okay, that's it. In the meanwhile, you can consider this presentation. I am considering this presentation as as your assignments for now. Okay, in the unit 3 I will give some assignment, 1 or 2 questions simply. If those who are already presented unit 1 and unit 2, they will have probably will gain a more marks. Otherwise I am going to give 0 directly. We are not at all presented. Okay, it is not like a previous subject like IPC, instrumentation process control. Okay, this time it is very hard for you to gain a marks assignment as well as Viva marks. It's up to you. You are going to present it or not. Okay, any doubts are there regarding material or anything? You can share with me anytime. Okay, if you want me to take the class, if you want me to improve anything, you can say to me. Give me the feedback. Pavani?
Sir,
Pavani. Now whatever I'm just teaching, it is enough or something if you want. You can
enough, sir.
just share.
Enough, sir. We are happy with your teaching.
Okay, yeah. For the mass transfer one, I have just purchased the tab also, writing tab. From now onward, there is no problem for live word and everything. Okay, I will try to derive every equation directly. Okay, no problem. If anybody is having any doubt, you can ask me. Ravi, from the boys side. If you have any complaint or anything, if you want me to improve something else in the teaching
No,
or
sir.
everything, okay,
No, sir.
just from the boys' side, you just take the initiative and ask boys whether they want anything extra or something. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, please do that thing. And Pavani, you please ask girls' side if
Okay,
they
sir.
want any improvement or something. We will try that one. Okay. Anyway, thank you. Enjoy your day. Bye.